All right. Well, I think it's time that we should get started with tonight's program. I can see that we've got almost all of the seniors here on the Zoom video chat, and then there are looks like there's over 50 people out watching on YouTube, and some of those may be families as well. So plenty of people watching. Um, I know this maybe not be the way that we originally planned to have Band Blast this year, but I do think it's important to recognize some of the things that we have done this year and to recognize our seniors for their 4 years of performance in high school band in Austin and 8 years of performance in band overall. I think for me, the strangest part of this is maybe even more than anything else is going to be not being able to hear the applause or hear any of that feedback right away. And band students, you'll know that when we perform, we don't get paid for our performances, but we do get paid in applause, and it's really our way of knowing just how much it is that people appreciate what we're doing. So the deafening silence will probably be strange tonight. When we do get to the later part of the program, when we're recognizing seniors and giving out some awards, um, seniors, you're welcome to turn on your microphones and cheer for each other when we get to that part. Um, but tonight is really about celebrating our successes throughout this year. Um, throughout the 2/3 of the year or 3/4 of the year that we were able to be doing things together, sharing some of the exciting things that did take place during our distance learning, and recognizing some of the both individual and group accomplishments um, so far this year um, for each of the groups, and finally to recognize and celebrate the 2020 band seniors for their contributions and the things that they've done so far during band. So to start things off, I'd like to give just a little bit of a recognition of the some of the things that each of the bands has done this year. And I'll start with concert band, work through the bands, and then recognize some individual things, and then we'll end with we'll have a couple other things in the middle, and end with recognizing our seniors. So, um, again, with celebrating some of our successes this year, starting with concert band, it was a really fun year with our ninth grade concert band this year. We started the year with a really well balanced ensemble, which is something that doesn't happen every year. Um, but it was really exciting to have a nice big group of ninth graders with good instrumentation across the board. We also got to see some students try some new things. Some various students tried playing a little bit of bass clarinet through the year. Some of the saxophones tried some different saxophones in ninth grade. Um, and this year we also had more ninth graders in jazz band than we have any year for the past 4 years that I've been teaching here. We had 10 ninth graders playing in Packer Jazz this year, which is great. Also, something that really can help build us some success in the future years. And for ninth graders, I felt like one of the biggest things they accomplished throughout the year was really learning what it means to be a high school musician, moving out of that the middle school mindset and really becoming high school musicians, both in how they rehearse and in how they perform, and really just how they go about their day from day to day. The students really took ownership of their individual parts and their own music, and took responsibility for what they were playing, um, and also had a lot of new experiences like getting to play in pep band and doing some of those other new things like that. So ninth graders, I was really happy. If any of you are listening or watching this video later, I was really happy with what we accomplished as a group this year, and the way that you became high schoolers this year. um, I'll add a few individual recognitions a little bit later as well. Then moving on to symphonic band, we had the biggest symphonic band that we've had since the 16-17 school year, and we're projecting a bigger symphonic band next year as well. Um, and the one thing that I really liked with symphonic band is that we were able to adapt and find things that worked for us. Looking at the instrumentation of our group, we had 51 students in symphonic band this year, but 12 trumpets, 8 flutes, and 8 percussionists, which means that more than half of our band, almost 60% of symphonic band, was flute, trumpet, and percussion, which meant that we had to figure out how does that work with our music? How do we balance our music? How do we adjust things to get a full band sound out of that? And I felt like we really accomplished some things well with that. Um, and I was able to push the symphonic band this year with some new key signatures and some new challenges, higher note ranges across almost every instrument, but most importantly, with more musicianship, digging into music that took more than just technical precision and note accuracy, but actually more other things as well, dynamics and how we worked on our tone, blended our tone with each other, and balanced dynamics. So I thought it was a successful year for symphonic band as well. And then moving on, for wind ensemble, I think the challenge that we faced and that we really took on well with wind ensemble this year was for students returning to wind ensemble from last year. Last year was really the most intense year that wind ensemble has had in a long time, with performing at the state music convention, performing at the UNI band festival, doing a new commission to piece, and dealing with all the snow days last year in the middle of it. And then this year, not having some of those big events that push us, um, we had to figure out how does our year look without some of those bigger events like that. But I personally think that by the time we got into it, this year may have been an even better band than last year's, both with a large number of returning members, a lot of returning lead players across all the sections. Um, and with so many people that knew what to expect in wind ensemble and what they could expect of themselves and each other, we were able to jump right into things. Our new wind ensemble members this year came in, maybe had a little bit of deer in the headlights sort of a look right away, with jumping to this level of music and this level of this learning pace. But it seems like a lot of our new members kind of looked around this year, saw what our returning members were doing, just kind of shrugged and say, "Well, okay, then I guess that's what we have to do," and started working at that level. Um, and I got a comment from several, at least three different 10th graders this year, of some of the new 10th graders in wind ensemble this year, that jumping from a ninth grade band to a 10th grade band, the music's a lot harder, but they really loved it. And there were more than one, there were multiple people that said, it's nice because I don't have to be the best player in my section. I can just learn my part and play, and everybody makes mistakes loudly and then fixes them and goes on. And since nobody's afraid to make mistakes, everyone is willing to try new things. And I thought, for those of you that were returning members to Wind Ensemble, I think that's a compliment to you all, of the culture that you've built in Wind Ensemble, so that new members feel comfortable making mistakes and learning from them and fixing things and going on. Um, and I felt like we were able to jump straight into technically challenging music, as well as some of the what band directors refer to as heart music, some of the music that's more has more emotion in it and more challenges to play that aren't just notes. We were able to jump into a lot of those things right away in the fall. Um, and as with our ninth grade band, Wind Ensemble had some people trying some new things. Ashley was doing work on bass clarinet. Sayla was playing oboe full time. Moises switched to trumpet. Victor and Natalie both did some work with contra clarinets. Um, and across the board, it was really a band that felt willing to try things, even if it was challenging, and to say, okay, I guess that's what it takes, and we'll get it done. And even though I wish we could have played the Big Nine Music Festival this year, that's sad to not have, and it's sad that we'll be delaying Band Blast 50 to next year. But at the same time, I still felt like it was a successful year, and we really did work toward capping off a lot of things for some of you who've been around for several years. For our jazz bands, it was a successful year as well. Packer Jazz was a really big, really young group. We started the year with almost enough players to split that band into two, even though we were a little short on trombones. But we kept it as one so that some of the younger members could learn things from people who had played a little bit of high school jazz. It seemed like it was a really good learning year with so many new ninth graders and other people that were new to jazz band, being able to learn a variety of jazz styles and learning things that are different between a concert band style and a jazz style, like the tone you use, the articulation you use, the dynamics you use, the fact that the brass players are all of a sudden one on a part and you have to own your own part and match it with other people, or sometimes two on a part with our trumpet section. And then further up, Jazz One seemed like a real powerhouse group this year. It felt like we didn't have any weak spots in Jazz One, maybe attendance a little bit in couple sections, one section, but we had some nice good gigs early in the year. And I wish we could have done our spring gigs and spring shows, but still felt like it was a really good learning year, that we were able to take some of the things that we've learned in past years and really build on them, both to keep learning and to keep performing well. As many of you know, this year we commissioned a brand new piece of jazz music from Adam Meckler, formerly of Minneapolis and currently from Michigan. The piece was in memory of Mr. Ben Bedner, who lived in Austin his whole life and taught private saxophone and clarinet lessons in the Austin area for over 60 years, as well as performing in many groups and doing many other things here in Austin. Unfortunately, that piece is on hold right now. We have the piece. The current Jazz One members have the music. Many of them have looked at it, but so far we haven't been able to perform that simply because we can't really rehearse it together. Even if we were able to do record parts and combine it, I think we wouldn't really get the feel for the piece until we were actually able to play it and hear what it sounds like together at least once. So that's on hold, but that's still coming, and can't wait till we get to share that publicly at some point. Um, and then all of the jazz, or both of the jazz bands this year, did get to go to the University of Minnesota Jazz Festival. We got to stop in St. Peter on the way up and hear professional trumpet player Alan Vizzuti give a master class and talk about his journey a little bit and some of the things he's learned along the way. We got to hear 3 different small combos from the University of Minnesota perform a small concert in which we were over half of the audience. It was a real nice, small event where we're in a small auditorium and felt like we're almost inside the performance. We got to perform at the U of M for clinicians and other jazz bands and get some clinics. And it seemed like all around it was a really both a fun trip and also an educational trip, that we had the right balance of fun and educational aspects in it. And got to really get some enjoyment out of spending some of that time together as well. So I'd like to just recognize then a few individual and smaller group accomplishments from this year as well. We had, let's see, we had a number of students this year performed in a flute choir that was started last year by some of our current seniors. And it was great to see that continue this year, even though we didn't get to do anything in the spring. They still did a handful of small performances around town in the winter around holiday season. And it was nice to see that continue. And I hope that's something that we can continue doing in future years. We had a lot of students this year go to various honor bands, and for those that don't know, an honor band is a 1 or 2 day event where a few students from a lot of different schools get together with some kind of distinguished director, usually from a college, and learn a set of music and learn things about music and do a concert at the end with. It's a group that only exists for 1 or 2 days, but still gets to put on generally a pretty impressive performance. And that was something that was also neat to see as well. So if you'd like to see a list of some of the students that went to different honor bands this year, if you're watching on YouTube, I put a comment on the YouTube in the YouTube comments that has a link to a PDF of a program for tonight that I'll more or less follow. Obviously it's a little bit different from a concert program, but I tried to keep some similarity in there so that people can see that. So if you'd like to see that, I've got the rosters for all the bands from this year, along with some notation for different students that did some impressive things this year. And then I also have a list of honor bands that students went to this year. We had students perform at the St. Olaf Honor Band in the fall. This year we had 10 students perform at the Southeast Minnesota 9th and 10th grade honor band, which is actually really impressive. That's a school record for our 9th and 10th graders. Typically we can only nominate 8 students, and usually somewhere around 4 or 5 are selected. This year we nominated 8 and all 8 were selected. And then the school that was hosting this year contacted me to see if we had any more clarinets that could come, because they were short on clarinet nominations. So we ended up with 10 students representing us at the regional 9th and 10th grade honor band. We had 4 students represent us at the Southeastern Minnesota 9th and 10th grade honor jazz band in January. I believe that was January. Might have been March. Actually, I think it was the week before distance learning started. The year's gone by quickly. 3 students at the Augsburg Honor Band, 2 students at the University of Northern Iowa Honor Band, a big pack of students at the Dorian Honor Bands at Luther College, and then a number of students that I did want to recognize individually for a few specific honor bands. This year we had 2 students selected for the state 9th and 10th grade honor band, Eric Yang and Misha Weber. Congratulations to both of you. That was an honor band that required an audition, a recorded audition, and then they stayed over and had a 2-day honor band experience for that. We had a number of students that were named to the Big Nine Select Honor Band, which is the music equivalent of being named All Conference in the Big Nine Conference. Even though that event was canceled, it would have been 2 weeks ago. But those students, I would like to recognize some of the seniors: Chloe Kammerer, Lauren Riskadal, junior Sayla Goosen, seniors Natalie Nunez, Abby Muller, Matthew Boyer, Moises Chavez Salvador, Aaron Knoll, Jacob Venegay, Seth Lumley, and Corey Klaus. So congratulations to all of you. Even though you didn't get to go to the actual event, you can still know that you earned that recognition for your performance in band. And finally, one brand new announcement that nobody has heard this yet, except for the person whose name I'm about to say. We found out on Tuesday that we have one student from the Austin High School band selected for the 2020-2021 Minnesota All-State Bands. And that student is Misha Weber. So congratulations to Misha Weber on being named to All-State. Misha put together a recorded audition. We were working on it the last couple days before distance learning. If I remember right, I think we may have been recording it Monday and possibly even Tuesday of those final days of school to get that sent in time. And we received that news this week. Even though the All-State camp itself won't be happening, she will still get to go to an alternate All-State event later in the school year, most likely in February. So congratulations, Misha. Through our year then, we had our typical performances for most of the year. And even as we got into March, just a couple weeks before we moved into distance learning, everything still seemed pretty normal. And we still had our March concerts. And I think for many of you students, even though that wasn't the way you anticipated ending your year performing, or for seniors for your career performing in the Austin bands, there were some really neat things that you got to end with. For ninth graders, I felt like your last performance really clicked. I felt like we had a great set of pieces for you, that we were able to do something that was more technically challenging, something that was a little bit more tempo challenging. And when we played Hymn Song of Philip Bliss, our middle piece in that concert, we got to do something that was more of a piece for the heart. And I felt like you really stepped up in all three of those styles. And so ninth graders, I'm really proud of the way you ended the year. And you may remember back on Friday, the Friday 2 days before we found out that we'd be at home, even when we just thought we'd be home for a few weeks, when they first made that announcement on the Friday before that, we were wrapping up the week and finishing up some things. And in my kind of post-concert chat with the ninth graders, it ended up being a little bit longer chat with the ninth graders. And a couple of ninth graders said it sounded like I had just given them my end of the year speech. And little did we know at the time that that was actually true, that ninth graders, you kind of got a piece of my end of the year speech, and it ended up actually being the end of our time performing together this year. So I'm glad that we got to close out the year with that, even if it was unexpected. And for wind ensemble members, if you haven't thought about this, the last piece that you played was when we combined with symphony orchestra and put over 100 people on the stage in Knowlton and played highlights from Star Wars together. And if that has to be the last piece you played, I guess that's a reasonable way to go out, because that was an exciting thing to put together, and a lot of fun, at least for me. Hopefully it was for you as well. So I'm going to turn the page here a little bit and kind of go into one more thing before we get to our senior recognition. I put together a little video. It's about 7 minutes long. I wanted to share some clips and some highlights of some different things that students did during the distance learning this year. And rather than trying to do all this live, all of the clips and things that I have are in the 4 to 12 seconds range. It's just a little mashup. So I pre-recorded this yesterday just so I could click play on it and let you see what kinds of things people have been working on with distance learning. So real quickly here, I am going to switch over, do a screen share on this so that you can see it. Make sure I put the sound on for it. And we're gonna have a quick video here of some highlights of things that students accomplished during distance learning. So here you go. Seniors, Alex, since I can see you on my screen, give me a thumbs up if you can see a screen that looks like it's about to play video. All right, thank you, Alex and Evan. The past 7 weeks of distance learning have been interesting for band. Everything has had to adapt quickly. The things that we teach, the way those things are taught, and the way that students learn. It has been interesting, but I found that students can adapt and that learning happens no matter what or where. Students have created many video clips of themselves playing, and with their permission, I'd like to share just a few seconds of some of their clips. As students have discovered, even recording a video in your own home can be nerve-wracking. But students are creative, even when uploads aren't working. Students sometimes learned new solo music or worked on things with their private lesson teachers. While other times, students learned familiar tunes and pop music. Students sometimes took advantage of a 3-month subscription to Smart Music to play along with things that had accompaniments. While other times, students just wanted to play something with feeling. One of my favorite assignments came in week 5. After students had learned to use different online tools in weeks 1 through 4, their week 5 task was to focus on the areas of create, perform, respond, and connect to design their own assignment. Students got very creative, performing for family members, responding to music from their favorite movies, writing new music, playing Happy Birthday for grandparents and siblings. Several students used this opportunity to perform something on a different instrument. While other students went back to familiar things. And even farther back, all the way back to the beginning. Some students collaborated with siblings, including one who taught her sister to play piano and another who worked remotely with a brother to create a recording together. But in the end, we mostly just miss each other. Students, I know you miss each other. I miss you all, and I can't wait to see you again.
Perfect. Woo.
All right, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of a snippet of some of the things that students have been doing over the past few weeks. Obviously, there's much more than that, but that's what I can fit into a 7-minute video clip. I think at this time, I'm going to briefly hand it over to, let's see, Seth and Corey. Do you guys have, so you guys had something you wanted to share, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. The pep band captains for next year. Yeah. One of them is Adam. So there you go, Adam.
That one's Riley. There you have it.
So for those of you joining us on the video, the background on that, a number of years ago, a couple of students declared themselves as the pep band captains and went up at a, I think it was homecoming during Pep Fest when all the sports captains went up and discussed pep band's undefeated record that year. And eventually over a few years, it kept happening. And then eventually enough students had seen it when they were younger that they didn't realize that it was a joke. And now we've ended up with legitimate pep band captains. So Adam Pike, Riley Haugen, wherever you are, if you're watching, I guess next year you'll be the pep band captains. It's still both the most most official, unofficial thing, or maybe unofficial, official thing ever. So with that, we're going to turn the page to start taking a look at some of our seniors this year, or all of our seniors this year, and recognizing some of the things that they've accomplished through the years. Big shout out and thank you to Trevor and Alex for putting together a slideshow of the seniors. I'm switching windows here so that I can put this on the screen. Since we don't have a senior song that the seniors can perform for you this year, they did put music with this seniors. It's something you played early on that seemed like a great way. When the suggestion came up, it seemed like a great background track to put on with the senior slideshow this year. So I'm going to switch real quick to a screen share, and then I'll put that slideshow up for you to watch as well. big shout out to Trevor and Alex again for getting that put together, and to all the parents who got pictures rounded up in the last couple days, and seniors as well. For those of you that sent in your pictures yourself, it's great to get that done. I know that was put together pretty quickly, and I thought they did a great job on it as well. For seniors and for parents, if anybody would like copies of any of the things that I've shared, the slideshow or anything like that, feel free to shoot me an email at the end, and I'll be happy to send you those files if you'd like them. So you've seen all the seniors. Now you get to meet them a little bit. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about each of the seniors in band. I'll try to be brief. Maybe just keep it to one or two things about each of them. And seniors, if we were at school for this, at this part in the concert, you would be receiving the things that were delivered to your houses earlier today. Big thank you to 6 of the 10th and 11th grade band members who helped put all that together and get those delivered today. You should have a senior flower and your senior plaque, and probably a couple other things in there as well. So I'm going to go through a list of all the seniors and just one or two things about them. And at the end, I've got a few awards, a few specific awards for some of you as well. So starting with our 2 seniors who are in symphonic band. First of all, Ananto. Ananto has always been an exciting presence at pep band, and everybody who knows Ananto knows that he's somebody who can always fire people up. Seniors, if you want to, you're welcome to, if you want to unmute and say hey and wave after you're announced, you're welcome to, but it's completely up to you. Hey, Anato.
There's one thing I want to mention. I nominated for being the squeaker you all heard back in the day.
All right, thanks, Anato. We can barely hear you. It was crackly, but
Bye.
I'm gonna mute you there, Anato, just because it's really crackly, and I'm gonna keep going. Our second senior in symphonic band is Taylor. Taylor has been a leader in symphonic band in the saxophone section, and actually ended up having a little bit of a saxophone solo on one of our pieces in what ended up being the final symphonic band concert. And then going to wind ensemble and parents, just so you kind of know, I'm not going alphabetically. I'm going in score order from flutes down to percussion, just because that's the way I think, and it's the only way I can keep everyone organized. So it works for me, even if it doesn't make sense to anybody else. So starting with our flute section, Chloe Kammerer. Chloe has been our principal flute player for 3 years in wind ensemble. Chloe is a spark who inspires others to do their best. And she has also been the drum major for our summer marching program. Chloe, yes. Next, moving on, Lauren. Lauren is also a 3-year wind ensemble member. Lauren does everything with passion, regardless of whether it's music, in band or dance or singing or anything else that she does. Lauren does everything with passion. Emma Lenway is a 3-year wind ensemble flute player. Emma's a quiet leader who could easily be the top flute player at many schools around, and is somebody who really leads by example by learning her music really well. In our clarinet section, Natalie Nunez is a 3-year member of wind ensemble. She's a versatile and hardworking player, and she expects the best from other people and can demand it from others because she expects it from herself as well. Yes, Natalie. Next, we have Victor. Victor has become somewhat of our utility reed player this year, playing clarinet as his main instrument, but also some bass clarinet, some contra clarinet, some alto saxophone, some soprano saxophone. And I can trust him to be our utility reed player, because I know if I give him something new to do, he'll do it well. Hannah Pike is a 2-year clarinet player in wind ensemble. Hannah is somebody who always asks whether things are worth doing, but then does them well once she decides that they are worth doing. Abby Muller on the technicality is a 4-year member of wind ensemble. As some of you may know, some of you might not know, not that many years ago, we only had 2 bands at Austin High School. And during the time when the 3rd band was being added, Abby was playing in the 9th grade band, in the concert band, in 8th grade. And when I started teaching here, Abby was already in wind ensemble and is the one person who's been in wind ensemble longer than I have. Abby has always, without actually having to say anything, has always challenged me to get better, because I've known that she's been there longer than I have, and she'll probably know if something could be done better. She's earned a lot of superiors at contest, and has also been the principal alto sax player all 4 years that she's been in the group. Faith Nystel has given me the best feedback of anybody during distance learning, letting me know what things are really helpful and what things are worth doing. And Faith, I really appreciate your comments and feedback on that. I know that when Faith auditioned for wind ensemble and got into wind ensemble this year, in many ways she was scared of the challenge of wind ensemble, but did it anyway, and then worked really hard and discovered that it was worth the challenge. Olivia Shapinski is a great all-around musician, and I'm really glad that Olivia's musicianship included playing saxophone in band. I think she and Faith have been inseparable for all your years of band, and I'm glad that you're both still in it together, in wind ensemble together. Justin Miller is a 2-year member of wind ensemble. Justin is competitive and likes to win, which means that he works up to challenges such as being in wind ensemble or such as being in Jazz One for 2 years. He's always worked up to whatever challenges that we've given him, and really done well with them. Alex Hamlin, our Barry sax and all-around sax player, is somebody who has always brought the fun to band, but over time learned that there are times to be serious and how to balance the serious and fun so that the serious can become fun, and why band is worthwhile. Alex, I know you're hoping that your career path takes you into a career in music, and I think you have the passion and desire and interest and the ability to balance the fun with the serious. Moving into the brass in our trumpet section, Matthew Boyer is a 3-year wind ensemble member. He's always been a musical leader through his years in high school. He's not afraid to catch things that I miss. If there's something that I miss that could sound better across the band, he's really good at tactfully letting me know or letting people know so that we can all sound better together. He's passionate toward music and passionate toward doing things well in music. Kylie Cusick is a 3-year wind ensemble member. I've never had to tell Kylie to get to work. She always gets it done when she needs to. She likes challenges and likes working up toward them. Meg Barinka is a 2-year trumpet player in wind ensemble. She loves music and feels the excitement of the music. She has a beautiful tone and can play any part with anyone, anytime in wind ensemble. I enjoy that she's been flexible with playing first, second, or third part, really whatever we need someone on. She's been willing to do it and willing to learn it well. Moises Chavez Salvador actually switched to trumpet in November of 11th grade and worked on it on his own time, learned how to play the instrument well with very little instruction, very few lessons. In just 4 months of playing, he auditioned for wind ensemble and made it into wind ensemble. And after 9 months of trumpet playing, he became one of our lead trumpet players in Jazz One. Moises is someone who really understands the passion of music, understands why it's important and how to do it well. On horn, we have Aaron Knoll. Aaron is a 3-year member of wind ensemble. He is a great musician across the board, including being a 2-year lead horn player in wind ensemble. And being named first chair horn player in 11th grade in the Big Nine Select Band. He plays piano in Jazz One, a little bit of trumpet and trombone here and there. And he's somebody that understands the music theory of how the music is put together and not just what his own part is doing. Jacob Venige is a 3-year wind ensemble trombone player. He's somebody that's shown us that you really can do it all in high school if you want to, as a multi-sport athlete and a wind ensemble member and many other things. He noted in his when seniors wrote some final comments, he noted that when he started high school, he expected that he would be mostly doing sports, and he had no idea then how important band would become to him. He's someone who inspires others to do their best, both in the way he acts and in the way he performs. Seth Lumley is a 2-year trombone player in wind ensemble. He switched to bass trombone coming into wind ensemble, which is same notes, same positions as trombone, but has some added notes on the bottom end that really beefs up the bottom of the end. He's had that unique role and voice on bass trombone, and he's also been a leader in the pep bands. Jacob Grove came into wind ensemble this year. Wasn't quite sure how if he felt ready for it or not, but it was really neat to see him work up to the challenge of the people around him, and he really has worked up to the level of people around him to become a solid member of wind ensemble. Trevor Baldus on baritone or euphonium is somebody who always understood the fun of band and had a passion for, developed a passion for it, seeing what you could get out of it when you put a lot into it. He's really grown a lot this year in music, as he's seen that wind ensemble and jazz one are both hard, but they're also both worth doing. Evan Anderson is a 2-year tuba player in wind ensemble. He came into wind ensemble with the skill for playing tuba and the skill for that level of music, but playing along with an older tuba player taught him to develop the pursuit of perfection and as close to perfect and as well as you can learn it, not just to play things, but to play them really well. And it's been exciting to see him grow from a follower to a leader in band. In our percussion section, Corey Klaus is a 3-year member of wind ensemble. He's been our most versatile percussionist. He's a solid player on snare or any mallet instrument or timpani, plays drum set in jazz one, and is an all-around solid percussionist on any part or anything that he's doing. He's also come in a number of times to help with getting equipment ready. Sometimes he's the first one to come in and the last one to leave when we have events, just because of getting things ready and help getting them put away at the end. Next in percussion is Rafe Dolan Peterson. Rafe is a 2-year member of wind ensemble who really stepped up as a leader this year. Seeing that there were no more older percussionists to take some of the challenging parts, he's jumped right into taking some of those challenges and learning to do them well. And finally, Spencer Hunt became a real leader in symphonic band in 11th grade. I challenged him in 11th grade to become the leader of the section as a way to earn his spot in wind ensemble. And he really did that in 11th grade, and it translated well to success in wind ensemble. So seniors, since I know the people on YouTube can't clap for you, if you'd like to unmute yourselves for a second and give yourselves and each other a round of applause. Congratulations to the senior band class of 2020. I wish you could hear the roar of applause that must be going on in the next rooms in your houses right now. So, seniors, I have a few more awards that I get to present. These are an honor and a joy for me to get to present some individual awards. And the hardest part for me is that there are only so many of them. And for those of you who receive one of these awards, know that it was a difficult decision, but also something that you should feel honored to receive, both from me and from your fellow seniors and for your classmates across other levels of band. And for those of you, even if you don't receive an individual award, please don't take it as any slight, because this to me has been probably the strongest senior class that I've gotten to work with. It's been a joy for me. It's only the second time in my teaching career that I've gotten to work with a class for all 4 years of your time in high school, simply because I've been at 3 different schools. But I'm also excited that next year I get to have a 5th year at a school for the first time in my career, because I'm planning to stay here, and I'm glad that this is a place that I want my family to be. And you can know that your class has been part of that, because we grew through high school together, from our first year when we didn't know our way around the massive main building. And you probably found your way around faster than I did. And as you were finding your way around the building, I was trying to figure out how many minutes or hours it would take me to figure out not only where to get an envelope to send a letter, but who to ask, because it was such a massive building and such a massive teaching staff. And I feel like I think we had many of the same feelings coming into Austin High School, since we were really all freshmen together, and hopefully we've all grown some through the past 4 years. So moving on, 5 individual awards that I get to present. And some years I try to work my way up to the biggest awards, but then that instead of creating suspense, it just creates confusion for people who receive earlier awards. So I'm going to start right off with the John Philip Sousa Award. The John Philip Sousa Award is a national award given to one senior at in every band program in every high school, or nearly every high school in the United States. John Philip Sousa was a leader and a bandmaster who expected perfection from his musicians, but also didn't claim to be the holder of all the knowledge. He was willing to listen to others, work with others, and through his example to inspire others to grow as musicians as well. And I feel that that is an excellent description of this year's Sousa Award winner. Congratulations, Abby Muller. And Abby didn't know it yet, but we delivered it to her house without her knowing it. And if you can see her on the screen, she's opening it right now. Congratulations, Abby. Our second award is the other national award that's presented in band, the Louis Armstrong Jazz Award. As many of you, particularly those of you who are older than the seniors would know, Louis Armstrong was a famous jazz, both performer and singer, trumpet player and singer. The Louis Armstrong Jazz Award recognizes people both for excellence in jazz performance, but also for not being afraid to try new things, people that are willing to play a written part or improvise something new, people who can both lead and follow in jazz. This year's Louis Armstrong Jazz Award winner is Corey Klaus. And Corey, the award is at your house, but I know that you're not, so you'll get to see it when you get home. Next, I have 2 Directors Awards that I'm going to present. Basically, a Director's Award is a way for me to recognize people. Since there are only the 2 big national awards, it's a way that I can recognize students that have really gone above and beyond. I wish I could give more for many more things, but I mean, technically, I suppose I could, but I also want to recognize not just students who have gone a little bit above and beyond in their instrument and their section, but have gone above and beyond in their contributions to the band in general. The first recipient of a Director's Award, and you'll receive the plaques for these on Monday. The first student finished second in the voting for all of the other awards, both the John Philip Sousa Award and the Louis Armstrong Award, and also the Band Spirit Award that we're going to give out at the end. He's respected by seniors, respected by underclass students, and jazz members alike. One of the younger students wrote, and you'll probably figure out who this is when I read this. One of the younger students wrote, "He showed me that you can be in 3 sports and still be good at band." This is very true, even with all the extra things that we do. Band is a class that meets during the school day, and the student has earned this Director's Award, not just for working hard, but for inspiring others to work hard as well. Congratulations, Jacob Venegay. And our second Director's Award, as I was thinking about this person, I was thinking about the question, do you make the band better, or does the band make you better? And this student is someone that I would say that both of those things are 100% true. She has, without question, made Wind Ensemble better through her playing, through inspiring her section, and through her passion for what she does. But at the same time, I think that being in band has also made her a better musician, a better person, and a better friend. Congratulations, Chloe Kammerer. And again, I wish you could hear the applause, but you can certainly imagine a big group of people, including your classmates, cheering for you on all of these awards. Our final award tonight is one that we created last year and decided that this was worth continuing and keeping as a real tradition, a Band Spirit Award. The Band Spirit Award is voted on by all band members, or in this case, by anyone in any grade of band who decided to vote online, since we couldn't vote in person. And the Band Spirit Award is one that doesn't have anything, well, has very little to do with how you play and more to do with how you treat others and how you inspire others as a person, as a musician, and the things that you do. This person earned this recognition by winning the vote, both among the seniors that voted and among the underclass students that voted. His dedication and passion shot through the roof this year as band became not just a thing to do, but also something that helped define who he is. And some of the things that were shared by other students, when I asked them as part of this voting and survey, I asked why you think your nominee should win the award. One person wrote, because he is present at every band activity, or as one of the 9th graders wrote, I see him everywhere I go that is band related. Another senior wrote, he really put everything he had into band. Or maybe the best one that sums it up from one of the other seniors is, because he loves band so much. Congratulations, the 2020 Band Spirit Award goes to Alex Hamlin. Seniors, I don't have a lot more to add today, but I do want to say something that I was thinking about as I was reflecting on the time when all of us came into Austin High School together, is the idea of buying shoes. And if you bear with me, I'll explain what that means. If you think about it, when you're a little kid, your parents probably didn't buy you shoes that fit. They bought you shoes that they wanted you to grow into, because they were hoping that your feet would grow before you destroyed and wore out your shoes. And so it got me thinking that no one buys shoes. No one buys shoes that fit if you're planning to keep growing. And so at some point in life, in the literal sense, you'll buy shoes that fit because you're basically done growing. But I was thinking about myself when I came here to teach in Austin, and how it felt like it was way too big of a job for me and way too much for really even any one person to do. But I stepped into it knowing that the shoes were way too big, and hoping that I could grow to them. And seniors, I hope that's something that you have felt through your time in high school as well, that maybe you came to Austin High School and it seemed too big, or the hearing wind ensemble play seemed like something that you couldn't do. Or those of you that did play in wind ensemble, maybe when you came in, I know some of you have shared stories of those of you that are 3-year wind ensemble members, reading Arabesque the first week of band, or last year when we read Across the Half Pipe right away, or even this year when I handed out Xerxes early in the year, and it looked like way too big of a shoe, and yet you all figured out what it took to grow into that. And so seniors, I'm proud of you for not just the musicians that you've become, but the people that you've become through your 4 years in high school and your 4 years in band as well. And with that, that's about all I have. Seniors, I'd be happy to turn it over if anybody else has any final thoughts. But congratulations to the band senior class of 2020 and to all of the musicians who've played in the Austin High School bands in the 1920 school year. I can't wait to see a lot of you in the fall. Seniors, anybody have anything else that you would like to add before we wrap up the YouTube video here?
My mom drop anything off anytime?
She did.
Did? Oh, okay.
I'm not
He
sure what
also
to do
dropped
with it.
something off.
Not sure? All right. Oh, it's from me and Aaron.
Should I open it?
Yeah, you should open it.
Did we drop
Okay.
anything else?
You should open the packages that were dropped off.
I've got a handful of things here.
All right.
Open them all.
I'll start with the one from Corey. Who did you say it was from, Corey?
Me and Aaron.
Okay. is a round plate-shaped object that feels plasticky.
I wonder what it is.
Ah, that might be the funniest. It's it is a custom disc golf disc. That is awesome. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I think my kids will freak out when they see that, and my
Oh, yeah.
brothers as well next time I go disc golfing.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, yeah.
What's next?
I think we dropped something off.
There's a big one here in Christmas
You
wrapping
should open
paper.
the thing that the Jacobs and
This one?
yeah, the Christmas one.
Does it have a right side up?
Not really. I mean, kind of. You'll be able to. It's the one. It's the place with the tape. That's the top.
There's a pile of tissue paper, by the way. This is hilarious.
Selling that on
No.
Facebook, and we've had to get.
What's that? So, backstory for those of
I
you
saw
who
someone
have
on Facebook selling it, and we had to do it.
backstory, my wife was selling some knickknacks from her grandma's house on Facebook earlier this week, and Henry Hinchcliffe came over and bought some kind of metallic looking candle holder thing, and apparently that's my gift. That's hilarious. Was there anything else in there?
No.
All right, Alex, should I open this other one here too?
No, why not? It's not. Me and Trevor have one more big one for you.
Okay. Well, I can open this this t-shirt.
It seemed fitting, seeing as you're a senior this year. So I mean,
There you go. Thanks, guys. All right, that's all the presents that I have in my house here. All right. Anybody have anything else, or should we wrap this up and shut down the live stream?
I'm sure once Corona's done, we'll all have to give you a big hug for a big gift. There you go.
I would.
Should we all announce our after school plans, like we're gonna do, like go to college and all that?
Every person can take 10 seconds. How does that sound? And say if you would like to say where you're going, and if there's anything you're planning to do with music, even though I know a lot of you are kind of waiting to see what happens this fall yet. So if you know what you're doing with music, you can certainly say that. And I'm just going to run down the order that you are on my screen, since that's the order that you are on the YouTube link. So Alex Hamlin, go first.
I'm going to UW Eau Claire, and I'm hoping to get into music education there. So
Evan.
I'm going to Riverland, and I'm gonna just do my associates, and I'm probably not gonna pursue music after this at the moment.
Trevor.
I'm going to Riverland, and I hope to continue music somehow, but I don't know how or what.
Chloe.
I'm going to go to University of Northwestern in St. Paul, and I'm going to try my hardest to do something musically after this.
Emma. Emma's frozen. I'll come back to you, Emma. Hannah.
I'm going to University of Mankato, and gonna be a police officer.
Seth.
I'm going to North Dakota State University for political science, and I'd like to do something. I don't know what yet.
Emma, I'll come back to you. Your video unfroze. If you want to go next, go ahead.
University of Minnesota Twin Cities, and I hope to be doing something in music.
Faith.
I'm going to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, and I'll be majoring in engineering.
Natalie.
I'll be going to South Dakota State University. I'm gonna go into pharmacy, and I hope to continue music in college, stay in a band.
Meg.
I'm planning to go to the University of Iowa for the REACH program.
Victor.
I'm going to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities and I'm going to major in biomedical engineering. Hopefully I can make it into one of their 6 bands there.
Justin.
I am planning on going to the UW Stout for computer science, and I hope I can maybe play in a jazz band there.
Abby.
I'm going to South Dakota State University to major in English and Spanish, and I'm planning to be in band and pep band.
Olivia.
I'm going to the University of St. Thomas and studying biochemistry.
Jacob Venegay.
I'll be attending the University of Iowa, majoring in biology and pre-medicine, and I'll probably, hopefully, join a jazz band or a jazz combo.
Lauren.
I'm going to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities to major in psychology, and I hope to stay in music.
Corey.
I'm going to Riverland to do elementary education.
Ananto. Hold on, Ananto, I gotta unmute you. Say it again, Ananto, you're muted.
I'm going to UMD, and after my bachelor's, I plan to go to law school.
Matthew.
I plan on sticking around town, working hard, and possibly going to Riverland.
Aaron.
I plan on going to the U of M at Twin Cities, and I will be majoring in computer engineering and hopefully pursue something with piano related or horn related. But if not, I always have community bands. So,
Rafe. Not seeing Rafe there. And Jacob Grove, I heard that your microphone isn't working. Is that correct? Jacob says in the chat, my mic is broken, but I will go to Riverland for generals and possibly accounting. Music currently unknown, although I would like to at least play. All right. Well, thank you, seniors. We got to hear a little bit about what you're doing. Anything else anybody had to add before we close out today's event? All right. Well, thank you again, seniors. Thank you, parents, for joining us. I can see there are lots of people watching this live on YouTube. And for those of you that are watching this later on YouTube, hopefully you got to enjoy seeing some things from the senior class and some snippets and clips from this year. And if you'd like a copy of the slideshow we use for the seniors, or if you'd like a copy of the video of the distance learning highlights, those will be available as well. You can feel free to send me an email and I'll send that to you right away. And I have a link to a digital version of the concert program for tonight is in the YouTube comments as well, or I can send that by email as well. So thank you, everyone. Have a great, safe rest of your spring. I hope to see many of you throughout the summer and next fall once we're more out and about. And it's been a great year in spite of everything. And I'm glad that music has been a part of your lives.